You won't believe this. OpenAI just dropped some huge news. They've announced their latest project, Sora, which is this incredible tool that lets you create videos just from a text prompt. How amazing is that? The word got out this past week on February the 15th, and it's already making waves worldwide. I can't wait to see the magic OpenAI is about to unveil. So we checked out OpenAI's website, and guess what? There's this amazing welcome video showing a bunch of paper airplanes gliding through a forest, just like migrating birds. It's absolutely stunning. Let's dive in and learn more about Sora. This is straight from OpenAI's website. We're teaching AI to understand and simulate the physical world in motion with the goal of training models that help people solve problems that require real-world interaction. Introducing Sora, our text-to-video model. Sora can generate videos up to a minute long while maintaining visual quality and adherence to the user's prompt. It's absolutely mind-blowing what they've achieved. Imagine being able to create videos that last up to a minute, all from just typing out a prompt. How cool is that? The first video they showed us was a Japanese woman walking down a street in Tokyo at night. The level of realism was like nothing I've ever seen before. The way the lights reflected in puddles, the natural movement of people in the background, and that close-up shot. The way her hair fell, the textures of the clothes, it was all so lifelike. Sure, there were a few quirks here and there, like how the hands looked or someone walking a bit off in the background, but overall it was just unparalleled. There was a moment while she was walking, her legs were able to freakishly crisscross, but incredible nevertheless. Then there was this second video with woolly mammoths charging towards the camera through the snow. The movement was so believable, and the backdrop with the mountains and snow was super detailed. You could tell it was AI generated if you look closely, but at a glance you'd swear it was real. The third video felt like it was straight out of a movie trailer featuring an astronaut with a red knit hat on a desert planet, standing next to his flying saucer. The realism was through the roof. The skin texture, the hair and beard, the suit, and the way he moved were all incredibly lifelike. And the aerial shot of the lighthouse on the rocky coastline with waves crashing against the rocks was surreal. The fifth video totally blew me away. It features this adorable furry creature inching closer to a candle, and the animation quality is through the roof. Honestly, Disney and Pixar might want to watch out because the quality we're seeing here is beyond anything we're used to. Moving on to the sixth video, we're taken into this marine world that's all made out of paper cutouts, and it's absolutely incredible. The paper textures take me right back to the crafts we used to do in elementary school, except on a far different level. Then there's the seventh video, a close-up of a Victoria Crown pigeon. It's so lifelike that you can't even tell if it's real or not. It's just that natural. In the eighth video, we've got two pirate ships going at it in the stormy seas of a coffee cup. Watching them move so naturally and keep all their detail even in motion is just mesmerizing. A few months ago, we couldn't have even dreamed of something like this. Makes me wonder if that is a quadruple espresso. And in the last video, there's a guy just chilling and reading a book while sitting on a cloud. Yes, you heard that right, on a cloud. He looks 1000% real. Sure, if you squint, the book might seem a bit off, but the overall vibe of the scene, completely convincing. Straight from their website, today Sora is becoming available to red teamers to access critical areas for harms or risks. We are also granting access to a number of visual artists, designers, and filmmakers to gain feedback on how to advance the model to be most helpful for creative professionals. We're sharing our research progress early to start working with and getting feedback from people outside of OpenAI and to give the public a sense of what AI capabilities are on the horizon. In the second set of videos, we're treated to what feels like a historic moment captured as though by a drone flying over California during the gold rush. The camera quality even has that old school Western vibe straight out of classic cinema. Next up, we've got this charming scene of a tiny figure tending to a Zen garden inside a crystal ball. The way the light reflects off the glass feels incredibly natural, and the detail in the rocks and sand is just beyond compare. Then there's this close-up of an eye that's downright astonishing. It's so lifelike that you'd never guess it was AI generated. The realism of the skin, the way the girl blinks, it's just wow. After that, we're shown this really cool animation of a kangaroo putting on a dance performance for his friends. The movement is so fluid, it could rival the work of the world's top animation studios. I honestly think Pixar is going to be in trouble. Following this, we have an aerial shot over a flea market. This looks amazing, but has some quirks. The people on the left of the scene are out of proportion with the people on the right, as well as the family that gets zoomed in on, and the young boy has 6 fingers. But then the camera angle changes and things start to look more proportionate as it pans out to a beautiful skyline. It's these little quirks that remind us that the technology is still being perfected. Yet at the same time, they showcase the unprecedented level of detail and realism the model can achieve. In the 6th video, we're treated to the sight of red pandas frolicking inside a petri dish on a lab desk. It's pretty adorable, even though you can spot a few glitches with the characters here and there. But the setting, the background, and the textures, they're impressively realistic. Then we've got something that seriously looks like it belongs in a museum. The way the light falls so naturally is what really sells it, not to mention the smooth sweep of the camera and those amazing reflections on the floor. Although, maybe let's not focus too much on what's going on in those TV screens. It's a bit of a wild ride. Wrapping up this set, we have a magical creature set against the backdrop of a forest, featured in an animation that's just bursting with color and light. Again, their website reads, Sora is able to generate complex scenes with multiple characters, specific types of motion, and accurate details of the subject and background. The model understands not only what the user has asked for in the prompt, but also how those things exist in the physical world. The more we dive in, the more the complexity of these scenes blows us away. Take this one scene, for example, where the camera is all in on the chase, following a vintage SUV over rough terrain that looks like a Land Rover Defender, but as you can see from the name, is a Danover. It's super convincing, though it does have moments that might remind you of a video game. Then there's this shot from a train window that's just breathtaking. I can't even begin to describe how spot on it is. The reflection of the people, the city views, the girl's reflection, it's all just perfect. And for anyone who's dreamt of visiting the Amalfi Coast, this next scene is a treat. It feels just like the real deal with an aerial shot that's incredibly well executed. Next up, we've got an octopus and a crab in a showdown that looks like it could be straight out of National Geographic or the Discovery Channel. I could almost hear David Attenborough narrating it. Sure, the crab's legs get a bit funky now and then, but unless you're really looking for it, you'd think it was real. Then there's this magical shot of a flock of paper airplanes that seems like it's lifted right from a fantasy. In another video, we see a kitten on the bed pestering its owner, but this time the girl looks a bit off. Moving on to a wildlife scene in a river in Borneo, it's simply stunning, so lifelike. Just ignore that odd creature in the back. And lastly, we're taken on to a Chinese New Year festival, brimming with color and activity. With so many people in the frame, there are bound to be mistakes, and the more you look, the stranger it gets. But at a quick glance, it's incredibly convincing. Again, straight from their website, it reads, the model has a deep understanding of language, enabling it to accurately interpret prompts and generate compelling characters that express vibrant emotions. Sora can also create multiple shots within a single generated video that accurately persist characters and visual style. The opening scene takes us inside a museum that feels like it could belong in New York, Paris, or any major city in the world. It's simply breathtaking, leaving you speechless. Next, we find ourselves following a couple wandering through the snowy streets of Tokyo amidst what appears to be falling cherry blossom petals. The intro feels incredibly natural, with the camera gliding smoothly, adding a layer of realism. However, it's not without its flaws. We notice some oddities in the sizes and spacing between people and objects. Then comes a time lapse of a flower blooming that would make even the most skeptical person stop and stare in wonder. Following that, there's this sequence featuring a robot in a cyberpunk setting that could easily give you the creeps, especially if you pay too much attention to the background characters. The fifth scene offers an ultra-realistic close-up of a gray-haired man with a busy city street behind him. The authenticity of the moment, the lighting, the texture of the clothes, it's all top-notch. And doesn't he look a little like Dennis Boutsikaris? Next up, there's this animated scene of a pack of wolves howling at the full moon. The animation style is modern cartoon style, focusing solely on silhouettes, yet it's incredibly engaging. Then we dive into an underwater version of New York, rendered in 3D animation. It's a bustling aquatic metropolis with sharks, whales, and turtles swimming through the city streets. And finally, we're treated to a heart-melting scene of 3 golden retriever puppies playing in the snow up close to the camera. The intricacy of the textures and the sheer cuteness of the puppies could fool anyone into thinking it's real. Again, from their website, it reads, "The current model has weaknesses. It may struggle with accurately simulating the physics of a complex scene and may not understand specific instances of cause and effect. For example, a person might take a bite out of a cookie. The cookie may not have a bite mark. The model may also confuse spatial details of a prompt, for example, mixing up left and right, and may struggle with precise descriptions of events that take place over time, like following a specific camera trajectory. The model isn't perfect and sometimes it gets things mixed up. As it's learning, we come across some pretty funny mistakes. Like there's this guy on a treadmill who's somehow running backward. Then we've got these gray wolf pups that magically multiply as they move. Imagine a basketball that bursts the moment it hits the hoop, only to reappear out of thin air. Or picture a plastic chair that defies all physics and forms as they pull it out of the sand and it defies gravity and just floats there untouchable. And don't get me started on this one birthday party we saw. Everyone had way too many fingers. These are just a few examples of the quirky errors that the model can make as it tries to figure out what we're asking for, all in the pursuit of delivering top-notch results eventually. OpenAI goes on to say, "We'll be taking several important safety steps ahead of making Sora available in OpenAI's products. We are working with red teamers, domain experts in areas like misinformation, hateful content, and bias, who will be adversarially testing the model. We're also building tools to help detect misleading content such as a detection classifier that can tell when a video was generated by Sora. We plan to include C2PA metadata in the future if we deploy the model in an OpenAI product. In addition to us developing new techniques to prepare for deployment, we're leveraging the existing safety methods that we built for our products that use DALL-E 3, which are applicable to Sora as well. For example, once in an OpenAI product, our text classifier will check and reject text input prompts that are in violation of our usage policies, like those that request extreme violence, sexual content, hateful imagery, celebrity likeness, or the IP of others. We've also developed robust image classifiers that are used to reveal the frames of every video generated to help ensure that it adheres to our usage policies before it's shown to the user. We'll be engaging policymakers, educators, and artists around the world to understand their concerns and to identify positive use cases for this new technology. Despite extensive research and testing, we cannot predict all of the beneficial ways people will use our technology, nor all the ways people will abuse it. That's why we believe that learning from real-world use is a critical component of creating and releasing increasingly safe AI systems over time. In this last batch of clips, we've really dived into the full potential of Sora to whip up vibrant and colorful videos from just a text prompt. We're talking everything from a Dalmatian leaping through windows to jaw-dropping 3D animations, close-ups of mesmerizing animals, a corgi YouTuber, and aerial shots that could rival a Hollywood production, all the way to the most vibrant and fascinating scenes our minds can dream of. OpenAI continues about the research techniques. Sora is a diffusion model, which generates a video by starting off with one that looks like static noise and gradually transforms it by removing the noise over many steps. Sora is capable of generating entire videos all at once or extending generated videos to make them longer. By giving the model foresight of many frames at a time, we've solved the challenging problem of making sure a subject stays the same even when it goes out of view temporarily. Similar to GPT models, Sora uses a transformer architecture, unlocking superior scaling performance. We represent videos and images as collections of smaller units of data called patches, each of which is akin to a token in GPT. By unifying how we represent data, we can train diffusion transformers on a wider range of visual data than was possible before, spanning different durations, resolutions, and aspect ratios. Sora builds on past research in DALL-E and GPT models. It uses the recaptioning technique from DALL-E 3, which involves generating highly descriptive captions for the visual training data. As a result, the model is able to follow the user's text instructions in the generated video more faithfully. In addition to being able to generate a video solely from text instructions, the model is able to take an existing still image and generate a video from it, animating the image's contents with accuracy and attention to small detail. The model can also take an existing video and extend it or fill in missing frames. Learn more in our technical report. Sora serves as a foundation for models that can understand and simulate the real world, a capability we believe will be an important milestone for achieving AGI. All right, summing everything up, we've seen some pretty cool stuff where just typing out what you're thinking can turn into videos that look super real or totally out of this world. From cute animals doing funny things to scenes that feel like they're straight out of a movie, it's been a wild ride. Sure, we had some laughs with weird glitches like backward running guys or basketballs that pop in and out of existence, but that's all part of the fun. The whole journey with Sora shows us how far we've come with technology, making it possible to create awesome videos from just a sentence or two. Even with the occasional mix-up like animals that multiply or parties with too many fingers, it's clear we're on to something big. It's about seeing our wild ideas come to life, whether it's a city under the sea or puppies playing in the snow. So what we're really talking about here is how these tools are opening up new ways for us to get creative and share stories that we could only imagine before. And even though there are still some kinks to work out, the fact that we can even do this is pretty amazing. I hope you found this super interesting. It's amazing what all this can do, and I can only imagine what, as creators, we can do with this. I really see this changing the future of movies, television, everything. So if you like this video, I hope I can compel you to hit the subscribe button and the like button as well. And I hope we can all go out and make bazillions. Have a good day.